I'm going to be talking with Lisa Robbins, and we're going to be talking about the difference between homeopathy and mainstream medicine. Because, of course, homeopathy can be used alongside mainstream medicine, it is not instead of. So, if you want to find out more about this, about the differences, about how they work together, then this episode you don't want to miss. Hello and welcome. It is so lovely to have you join us today. Thank you for coming. And I'm really pleased to welcome Lisa Robbins. Lisa, it's been quite a while since we've spoken.
True.
We must do this more often.
We will. I've got another idea coming up, and you've already accepted.
Oh, fantastic. That's good news. This is great. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about homeopathy and how it is different to conventional medicine. So, really, we're asking the question, well, what is homeopathy? Why do we need homeopathy? Why do we need something that's different?
Over to me.
Yeah, over to you. Let's go.
Conventional medicine has a role, and it's very important. At times, it gets us over a hump. Without it, I think lots of us wouldn't be in good shape. But it often works by suppressing a symptom that means that the patient gets better, but ultimately, after a period of time using that conventional medicine, they get worse. And it's because the original symptom, a skin symptom, for instance, was suppressed, that happens. And so, what I like about it is that, unlike conventional medicine, it's getting down to the core of what created the skin rash in the first place, for instance.
Okay, so let me just understand this so that we can help our listeners understand this. When somebody goes to their health practitioner with a symptom, they want that symptom to go away, and the doctor gives them something that sends that symptom away. So, what do you mean by suppressing?
Well, what suppress actually means, it's a Latin root, and it means to press under or put an end to activities, or to a practice or a custom, to stop a flow or a hemorrhage or a cough, for instance. Politically speaking, if there's a revolt, we suppress it. But my point is that if we suppress the revolt long enough, there may be a war because the natives get restless. And there are little people in your body who get upset too when
Yeah.
you keep pushing them down. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Is it worth us just explaining a minute what a symptom actually is? Because is the symptom saying that this is wrong, or is the symptom saying that something's wrong and you need to sort it? What is a symptom?
The latter. It's all a symptom's doing is saying, pay attention.
Okay.
Pay attention. Something is out of balance. It's not wrong. It's simply out of balance. And if a symptom is a light, mild symptom and you ignore it, that's okay for a while. I'll give you an example. Sometimes, because I'm not always enjoying my laptop, a little light will flash once in a while, and I just ignore it. You
Okay.
know, just
Yeah.
keep typing. I'm fine. In fact,
Yeah.
sometimes I can figure out how to turn the little light off, which is great. Except that after a time of ignoring the little light because I turned it off, it was annoying. I wasn't able to type well. My laptop fan stops working. And then the laptop heats up, and then my laptop needs to be replaced. So
Ooh.
what I'm saying is, yes, of course we can turn off the little flashing light,
Yeah.
cover the skin rash with steroidal cream, and
Yeah.
it works. It's great. You're cured
Yeah.
for a while. And
Yeah.
that's a point about suppressing.
So when you come in with a rash, you shouldn't be saying, get rid of this rash, this light that's on my computer. You should be saying, find out why my body is giving me a rash.
Exactly. You should welcome the rash because a rash is so much preferable to something deeper, some deeper pathology. So a rash is, I mean, the skin is an organ too. It's the largest organ in our body.
Yeah.
But it's a marvelous red flag, or maybe just a little pink flag saying, pay attention. And if you do, not by suppressing it, not by saying, oh, I don't like this red beard that I've got here on my chin, and going to get some cream to rub on it, but rather, why do I have this? And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you'll know. You might not. You probably won't. I mean, we're all a little bit, caught up in what's going on and not as close to our bodies as we'd like to be. And that's where the homeopath comes in, because in speaking to the homeopath, they can figure out what's at the bottom of this.
So what you're saying is the difference with homeopathy is that we are looking at the rash as a nice little warning light, but we're saying, okay, let's get the manual out and
Yeah,
see what the little red warning light is
yeah,
actually saying needs to
yeah.
be treated.
Yeah, don't just turn off the flashing light on the laptop by smearing steroidal cream on a rash sort of thing. Find out why the light is flashing.
Okay, okay. How does homeopathy do that? What do we do? How do we address the cause bit? What is different?
Well, a homeopath will sit down with a patient in an initial consultation, and for up to 2 hours, usually an hour and a half or so, try to get behind what made the rash. I'm going to use a case example, which I think might help. I had a patient who's about 3 or 4 years old, and she was constipated all the time. But why? So I spoke to the mother, and I got a chance to meet her online. She's a lovely little girl. And the mother said she's angry all the time. I mean, really angry. She stamps her foot. She's so irritable. She screams. And if we don't pay attention, she screams louder. And she's all tight and bunged up in her bum. And after discussing with greater detail about her irritability and her things getting worse whenever she ate anything that was a little bit spicy, I realized that Nux vomica is a remedy that would probably help her, and gave it, prescribed it, and the uh, symptom of constipation went away, because what was going on was a picture of a very irritable, angry 3-year-old wasn't who was treated like a little doll, to
Mm.
let's not pay attention to her. She's the youngest in the family, she's the baby, everybody doesn't listen. And she was working so hard, the way Nux Vomica works so hard to try to be valued. So that's just an example. I forgot what the question was now, but it sort of explained the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. So what you're saying is the physical symptom needs to lead us to actually the cause of the physical symptom. So we're not only looking at the physical symptom, we're looking at everything else that's going on and the patterns that might have occurred, so that we can find out actually what really needs addressing, what needs to be balanced in order for the body not to do that.
That's right. That's right. Her body was simply giving a physical manifestation of what was going on a mental and emotional level. And that's the thing that I didn't say earlier, but so important. The reason homeopathy works so well is because it doesn't just treat the symptom the way a conventional medical doctor might. Instead, it treats the patient. So it's treating on the emotional, on the mental, and on the physical, on all three planes. And through that, it's finding the thread. It's tracing a thread through that patient, the way the patient manifests symptoms, the way that patient copes with symptoms, and that patient will be individual. The way they cope won't be the same way another patient copes. The way they manifest the symptoms will be different as well. So the beauty of the homeopathic remedy is that it's tailor-made for that individual, whereas a conventional doctor will probably prescribe a medicine for constipation, which is generic, which will help
Which will
to
take away
an
that particular
extent.
symptom, but it wouldn't solve her issue of being seen or heard in the family.
Of being angry, of being unappreciated. Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. Lisa, can I give you some questions and you just because why would somebody get a rash? Can you give me throw a few things at me, reasons why your body might produce a rash? What do you find? What do you
Well,
listen to with your clients?
it could be stress at work. It could be stress at home, an abusive partner. It could be a feeling of not um, being able to achieve, a frustration with something one's trying to do. It could be drugs that they're taking for something else.
Ah, yes,
So
yes, yes.
there are many reasons, and these same reasons can prevent a remedy from working, I might add, but we'll get into that maybe in a minute.
Yeah, yeah. And also, of course, it might be that there's something wrong with the digestion.
Oh,
Might that be a
absolutely.
thing? Yeah,
Yeah,
an allergy.
something wrong with the digestion, something
Yeah,
wrong with um, I was thinking of more of mental and emotional
yeah.
things, but right, something could be wrong with the gut or with the bowels. Well, that's the gut as well, isn't it? But stomach or bowels. Yeah, there are all sorts of things.
All sorts of things. Okay, so let me just ask a couple more because people will be asking this. Well, you know,
Mhm.
if I have got a headache, then everybody knows, the first thing you ask is, when did you last drink water? But we know that a headache is not saying that your head is there's a problem necessarily with your head. So what else could it be? The reason why you perhaps could get migraines or cluster headaches or recurring headaches. Are there lots of reasons why that might occur?
Which makes it no fun at all. Yes, there are lots of reasons, but one is not moving your bowels often enough. I
Okay.
mean, hopefully a migraine wouldn't, but certainly a bad headache. Yes, of course you should drink more water, but when you don't, your bowels don't move, and
Yeah.
that could cause the headache. But yes, there are myriad reasons. And when a patient comes to me and says, I want you to help me with my migraine, I need to find out what kind of migraine it is. Are they having trouble with flashing lights in their eyes? Does the migraine come only at night when they're laying down? Is it only when they're super active? Because those kind of modalities are going to help me decide which remedy will address the symptom. And I will find out along the way that there are other symptoms that marry with the migraine.
Okay. So what you're saying is that it might also be caused by digestive issues. It might also be caused by emotion. Everything that we had with the skin might be relevant for that as well.
The skin as well. Yeah. Well, yeah, if it's a migraine, then you'd see two things. You'd see the migraine and the rash. And you would know as a homeopath that they're linked. That's another thing that's very interesting about a conventional doctor. He will treat them all separately, give you a medication for the headache, give you a medication for the skin rash, give you a medication for the problem with the digestion or the bowels. And they will all work at first, but if you take them long enough, they won't, is my feeling. I
Okay.
mean, is my experience actually.
So what you're saying is that people might have a reason for their body to give them a symptom, but the symptom will be different in each person.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
And the way they cope with the symptom, some patients might cope with it by being kind of shrinking in and being very quiet and a bit weepy and kind of needing a lot of comfort. Another patient might get very irritable, like the one I described, the little girl, screaming at people, demanding.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. It's fascinating, isn't it? And what I love when I work with people and talk with people about homeopathy is that after this experience, they know so much more about what their body is trying to say to them.
Not only do they know more, but they're so much more patient.
Okay.
I feel they realize that the body isn't an enemy, that whatever is wrong isn't something to fight, but rather something to welcome. And and therefore, they are more kind to, this sounds insane, to the body part, but to themselves.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I understand. So, um, so they're just more aware, they're listening more, and
Mhm.
they're looking at their symptoms in a completely different way.
Mhm.
Interesting, isn't it? So it's a great way to actually look at our health. And now I can understand, okay, why we need something different like homeopathy. But let's go back to the idea of suppressing, and that, some types of medicine will just push the symptom down. What happens when we give a homeopathic remedy?
Well, when we give a homeopathic remedy, a couple of things could happen. Nothing could happen, which may mean you need to wait because sometimes certain remedies take longer to inspire the vital force, to transfer the pattern to the vital force, so that the vital force can act. Or you can the patient may have a slight discomfort, a kind of, we call it a remedy reaction. And that is most likely because the remedy that you've chosen, you, the homeopath, have chosen, is correct. And the body is getting a little bit of a shakeup. Not a big one. If it only lasts for a day or two and then settles down, it's a remedy reaction and it's fine. It's something I don't tell patients all the time because I don't want them to be looking for it. I
Mm,
want them to come to me and say, "Oh, I was so much worse." And I then say, "How are you now?" "Oh, I'm much better now." And it's like only a day later, and I'm thinking, "Okay, that's fine." I
yeah.
welcome it. I tell them to welcome it. It's 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 the remedy shaking up the system so that it will work. So that's the second thing that can happen. And the third thing that can happen is that the patient will have this marvelous feeling of well-being. Again, I wouldn't think that would happen right away, but I mean, it's happened to me so many times, and I just love it when it happens. A feeling of being able to let go, to be able to relax, and I didn't even realize that I was tight, that I wasn't relaxed until this feeling comes.
Mm.
And I get that. I'm not sure everybody gets it because everybody's different before any physical change occurs. And then some of the physical symptoms will disappear, um, in reverse order from the way they first manifested. Um, and that's marvelous. Especially, I love it when a patient says, "Oh, and also what did she say the other day? My sore throat went away." And I said, "But you didn't tell me you had a sore throat." And that's fantastic. In other words, it's it's going through all the old symptoms are coming up
Mm.
and being treated, or being addressed, let's put it that way, by the remedy, because it's the right remedy and it's the thread that runs through all the symptoms, because it's addressing what the patient needs in order to come back into balance.
Tell me, when people go to mainstream medicine, and quite often for chronic illness, they're giving a medication, and they're given it, and they have to keep taking it.
Yeah.
Why is that, and why or how is homeopathy different from that?
Well, earlier, we were talking about the fact that the conventional medicine treats the symptom.
Mm,
So it will treat the symptom, and as long as you keep taking it, the symptom will not be there. It will be gone. It will be suppressed. But because only the symptom is treated, the origins, the root cause of what it was that created the symptom has not been treated, which means the symptom is going to remain. If you stop taking the medication, then the symptom will rise up again. And it's one of the reasons that people come to see us. We have clients because they are tired of taking conventional medication and finding the minute they stop it that the symptom comes back. In the case of homeopathy, because the homeopathic remedy has looked at the mental, emotional, and physical, has looked at the pattern that runs through, has looked at what that person, um, who that person is, essentially. Hard to explain it any other way. Um, it will be addressing the root cause. And in doing so, I'm not going to say it in a snap your fingers, fix it at once sense, but in doing so, it will put that patient on a path to better health. And not just better health, but also what we were talking about earlier, on a path to thinking differently, to thinking maybe more compassionately about the body and how the body is actually doing its very, very best job to try to put them back into balance and homeostasis. So the reason the homeopathic remedy will work in some is because it's looking holistically at all the things that created the problem in the first place.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Thank you for explaining that. Lisa, I know that you have a Facebook group for kids and teens. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what sort of what are people coming and asking you? What's happening in that group?
A lot of people are coming to us with questions about their teens, some of them about their younger kids, but teens are trouble. They are. They are. I remember begging my daughter not to become one, and she promised. She became yeah, I mean they are just difficult, aren't they? I mean, they say no, they're going to do it their way. So in addition to the fact that you want to help them,
Mhm.
you've got the fact that they don't want to be helped, that they're going to do it their way. So that's a problem. So the parents of the teens come and they say, my teen has a skin rash, for instance. What can I do about it? Or my teenage girl has trouble with her periods and she's got acne all over her face. It's often about the skin.
Okay.
Some of them come with problems about anxiety. Anxiety is huge, and about nervousness with respect. Right now, it's exam time, so a lot of students are panicked about the fact that they're not going to make it. They're going to be physically ill because they're not going to get through the exam. You know, they didn't study hard enough. It's too late now, and all this last minute panic. So anxiety and skin and digestive are the three things that I mean, they come with everything, but those are the three.
Yeah, yeah, fascinating. Thank you. Thank you for explaining. And I think that this whole conversation just helps people understand why somebody might want to consider a different method of finding a solution to help their bodies balance better.
Just one more thing that I thought about, which is that when you have a baby, you so want the baby to be healthy, and so you do everything you can to make the baby healthy. You know, you make sure that it has the best possible diet, that you engage it, and when that baby turns into a child and a teenager, you still want
Mm,
the most natural approach that you can to to help them. I mean, by the time they become an adult, they'll probably be taking a cocktail of conventional pills and things. But the idea is, to the extent that we can, let's go natural. Let's give them a natural approach. And that is another beauty of homeopathy. That what we're hoping to do, we parents of teenagers, is get them started on a healthy sort of medical journey, not one that is going to create problems down the line. So if you give them something that's natural and holistic, homeopathy, for instance, alternative medical treatment, they, in my opinion, stay healthy longer.
uh-huh. Yes, I agree. I agree. We love homeopathy, don't we? Aren't we lucky having this in our lives? Lisa, it's been lovely, lovely talking to you today and helping just to explain, the basics, the fundamentals, the beginning of the journey of homeopathy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary.
Well, wasn't that fascinating? I'm sure that you will agree that you will have taken away something that kind of explains some of those unanswered questions that you had about mainstream medicine, about homeopathy. And of course, mainstream medicine has a huge different array of medicines and different ways that it acts. It's just how we look at it, how we look at the symptoms, that's really, really important. And if you enjoyed this episode today, then I'm sure you will enjoy this one too.